Today we'll be learning about how to conjugate verbs, but first you need to know more about subject pronouns. The most basic subject pronouns are I, which means yo in Spanish. There's you, non-formal, which is tu. Non-formal is like when you're just speaking to a friend or somebody that you're on that you just know well. That's non-formal. He is el, she is ya, and then you formal is usted. You formal would be like speaking to somebody who is in higher command or like an adult. We is nosotros. They, male, is ellos, so like a group of people that are just all male, or a group of people that is mixed, female and male, which makes it masculine. They, female, which is a group of all girls, no guys in the group, which means ellas. And then you, plural, or y'all, down in the south, is ustedes.
Once you have learned your subject pronouns, now we move on how to conjugate your verbs. There are 3 steps on how to do this. The first one is drop your ending. At the end of each verb, there is 3 ways that they can end. They can end in AR, ER, and IR. So when you're learning how to conjugate, you must first drop the AR, ER, or IR. The next thing you must do is determine the subject in the sentence. Like in this sentence on here, the subject is Paco and I. And the third step is add your ending. There are there's multiple endings, and all the endings determine on what your subject is. For example, Paco y yo habla español. So first, we need to drop our ending on our verb. Our verb this time is hablar, which means to talk. Let me find my little wipe. There it is. Hablar. Drop your ending. So the ending in hablar is AR. So we're going to drop that. Okay, so we've done that. Now we move on to step 2. Determine the subject. Well, the subject in this sentence is Paco and I, because as we remember earlier, I is yo. So Paco and I is we. We're saying we. So the ending for we is hablamos. Amos. So we're going to add A-M-O-S. So now it says, Paco and I talk español. Or in Spanish, Paco and I hablamos español.
Another main subject in conjugating verbs is your endings. There are 3 main endings, AR, ER, and IR. And determining your subject will then determine which ending you will use. Each verb has different endings. So, for example, hablar, which means to speak, ends in AR. Beber, which means to owe, ends in ER. And vivir, which means to live, ends in IR. So, for example, if your subject was yo and your verb was hablar, you would then drop your AR and change it to O, so it would become hablo. Or if your subject was nosotros or we, it would change to hablamos. Now moving on to ER, it's the same exact thing, except you just change your endings, except for yo. Yo stays the same, ends in O for AR, ER, and IR. So for example, if your subject was ellos, then it would then change from ER to EN, beben. And also the same thing for IR. If your subject was L, you would then drop your IR and it would be VV. Or if your subject was 2, it would be VVs. And that is how you conjugate Spanish.